What up, what up, what up? New York Giant Nation and football fans all over the world. It is your boy, Mac the Giants fan. Got my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas. It's Wednesday evening. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Round-Up. Punch that intro, baby. What is going on, all y'all good people out there? Thank y'all for stopping in for another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Round-Up with me and my guy, Adam Costas. Man, how you feeling today, Adam?
I am feeling spectacular. Football is football. We are here. This is what we wanted. Games being meaningful in December. Let's go.
Absolutely. Playing meaningful football in the month of December, something the Giants haven't been doing in quite a long time. This whole damn division, this whole amazing NFC East division is playing meaningful football in the month of December. That hasn't happened in a very, very, very long time. So it's good to see. It's exciting getting down the stretch here, getting down to the nitty-gritty of this football season, man. The New York Giants, we're going to get this thing started. We're going to get it crack-a-lacking, and we're going to go right up in there and go right here to this game on Sunday. Yes, the game. It was a showdown game. Up in MetLife Stadium, the Washington Commanders, the New York Giants. And then all it did was go to overtime and end in a fucking tie, 20-20. The Washington Commanders come out of this feeling like winners. The New York Giants come out of this feeling like losers. Tell them how you feel, Adam.
I feel absolutely mind-boggled that 25 years ago to almost the day, we tie the same freaking team.
The last time the New York Giants played to a tie, by the way.
Exactly. 25 years ago against the same team. Against a team who, by the way, this game, you want to talk about mirror images of each other? The stats at halftime were basically identical. If you were to take the teams away and just put the stats up, you'd be like, what is the team playing the same team? Like, what is this? You couldn't draw it up any better. And we ended in a tie. You know who ended a tie? The Texans. Colts ended in tie. You know, the Eagles, because of stupidity, end in ties. Mostly mediocre teams end in ties. We had we're going to get into it. We are going to get into it because I am livid about some things. I got to get some things off my chest. Hope they're ready for this.
Exhale.
Yeah, I'm like Whitney Houston right now. I'm trying to wade into exhale. That's how crazy we're going right now.
Yeah, I mean, this game here, this damn tie right here, this is not what the New York Giants really needed. When I did my aftermath show after the game, I was looking at the glass half full, half empty, whichever you want to call it. Sure, a tie is better than a fucking loss. We get it. But a tie is still that stupid thing in the damn standings that you don't even want to acknowledge when you're talking to your homies and they say, what's y'all boys' record? And now we got to say 7-4 and 1. So it's just that extra thing that you don't want to have to be bothered mentioning because you'd rather just get the damn W. And the W was there to be had for the New York Giants. And the offense couldn't do what it needed to do to get the job done. I am fired up about this offense. This offense, it just angers me because it can't seem to do anything right. I mean, the defense, look, sure, people want to say they shouldn't have gave up that drive at the end of the game. The defense kept us in this game. That drive, yeah, it shouldn't have happened, but at the same time, this offense had so many opportunities to put this game away and couldn't get the job done.
They
And
just don't have the killer instinct, man.
it's just a frustrating thing to sit and watch. This game should never have even went into overtime, let alone go all the way to a damn tie. Because this game should have been ended right in regulation. The offense had so many opportunities to do so and could never seize the moment. Adam, you know what I mean? Take it away for a little bit, bro. I need to.
Okay. You exhale over there. Maybe take a sip of a Mad Elf or Good Elf or whatever elf they are you got today. But I am angry just as much as you are. More so at Brian Daboll than anybody else. And why Brian Daboll? Why the bald-headed guy? The Santa Claus-looking guy on the sideline? I'll tell you why. Because his message right now is play for the tie. That was his message in the game. He didn't want to lose. He'd rather have just tie. And I'm looking at this guy. Where's the bravado? Where's the guy from Tennessee who said, hey, fellas, we go down and tie this game, we're going to win. Okay? No. What did we do? On 4th and 3 in overtime, we punted the ball away. Now, I'm going to give you the methodology before I go on my rant. I understand what he was thinking about, but you do that play in the fourth quarter, right? The late in the game in the fourth quarter. Leave your defense to get them off the field, right? You don't do it in overtime when you're like 5 feet away from your kicker's range. What did he do? He decided to go hut, and try to draw them off sides after the calamity of errors that happened on the previous play by the three stooges in the backfield. Okay, he decides, you know what? I'm not going to be aggressive. I'm not going to try to win the game. I'm going to kick it to my defense, who, by the way, played okay. But guess what happened? Then Brian Robinson runs for like 10 yards and gets them right out of the shadow of their own goal line. So now you're playing damn near backfires. Now, had they gotten a first down, Brian Daboll would have been blown up. But because they kicked the ball back to the Giants, who then, now all of a sudden you want to be aggressive, Daniel Jones is now throwing the football. It's like, what? Do you not trust this guy, or do you trust this guy? Well, we're getting the DJ in a minute. But Brian Daboll, you need to figure yourself out right now. You can't play scared. I know you want the playoffs, but the playoffs are going to be snatched from your friggin' jaws if you keep playing like this. If you play like this against the Eagles, good night, the lights at halftime.
I mean, look. Yeah, I do want to just focus in on this offense because the offense here, I think, is just it's just the bigger problem. I think it's just clearly the bigger problem. The defense clearly keeps us in games. It might not always be the prettiest, but they keep us in games. This offense does nothing. It's not doing its part. It's not getting it done. You got to figure out a way to make it work. I get the talent ain't there. I get it. But you got to figure out a way to make it work. Well, you just got to find whatever you got to do, whoever you got to put on the field, whoever can get the damn job done. I think it's just ineffective, man.
I think what has to happen right now is, as we see right now, the Barkley is the best player. He used to elevate when on fire the entire offense. Once he goes, Daniel and the rest of the teams go. What needs to happen is Daniel needs to be the catalyst and raise everybody else up when Barkley is down. Case point. I went on some Twitter spaces. I went on some YouTube spaces. Don't ever do that, folks. Let me tell you, because you will lose brain cells. But anyways, I decided, hey, I have a few to lose in my middle age. Why not? I'm not using them right now. I thought I'd throw a couple down the Twitter space. So a guy named RZ, he's probably not listening, but hey, if he is, he brought up a good point in the Twitter space, but he also brought up a good point on Hubs, the Hubs channel. And his point, he said, we don't like to blame the quarterback for a lot of things to elevate players, but he's like, look at what Cam Newton did in 2015. And I was like, what did Cam Newton do in 2015? He had guys like Ted Ginn and some other booty-ass receiver playing for him. The only guy he had was Greg Olsen. And that entire offense was because Cam Newton, who had 35 touchdowns that year, and I forget how many rushing, almost 1,000 yards rushing, lifted that team up in moments that they needed to. Yeah, they had a good defense. I get that. But when they needed a play to be made and the running game wasn't working, because Jonathan Stewart didn't have 1,000 yards, He didn't finish with 1,000 yards. Saquon Barkley finished with 1,000 yards. Daniel Bellinger is, yes, obviously not as good as Greg Olsen, but the receivers they had, 10 Gid, and the other booty receiver, I'm going to look him up right now. The other booty receiver they had over there, he wasn't very good. What happened was their quarterback lifted them. And so this is what I'm trying to tell people. We need our guy who, yes, played an efficient game, although it took 5 quarters to get 200 yards. But my point is that sometimes you need need another element to rise up, not just play at a manageable level. And I think we need to start finding out if unleash this kid. If Daniel Jones fails, let him fall on his sword. Okay, let him fall and fail. Don't keep hamstringing him because guess what he has right now. And we're going to talk about him against another guy down the road that's playing up 95. You need more plays. We need to figure it out. Brian Dable's supposed to be this offensive guru. I'm not seeing offensive guru out there. I'm seeing Jason Garrett offense all over again. Putrid. Just like they didn't score a point after this, right? They got the ball on the, inside the 20-yard line after that strip sack fumble by Azeez Ojulari. Welcome back, right? And what does he do? They go in and score a touchdown, and that's it. That's their points for the game.
Well, look. I mean, because this is interesting numbers he's got up here. Alex put up here. What's going on, Alex? Shout out Big Blue in the Bronx, everybody. Make sure y'all go and sub up Big Blue in the Bronx over there, covering all kinds of sports-related, New York sports-related things. Yankees, Jets, Giants. Him and his brother do great work over there. Check them out, man. But these numbers he put up here. I mean, he put up the rushing numbers on first down, and he put up Daniel Jones numbers on first down. It appears that Daniel Jones has been pretty efficient in the early downs, and maybe the coaching staff. What you're saying is that they don't trust this quarterback, and maybe this numbers is right. Maybe they need to start trusting this guy a little bit more, putting the ball in his hands, and like you said, letting him fall on his own sword and giving him more of an opportunity. Because these numbers here on the early downs do look a lot more efficient than just force feeding the ball to Barkley when everybody's expecting it and ready for it.
Look, the rest of the game, he has 12 of 46 on first down. Is that for this game, or is that for this game, those stats? Because if you look at that, he only threw 56 yards more after that. The problem is not necessarily the route concepts. The problem is that he is who he is. Like, I don't know if they're not going – they took a shot downfield and they didn't take any shots till the end of the game. Like, you just had Darius Slayton catch a 50-yard bomb, probably the hardest, biggest throw I've seen him make all the time. You know what I mean? And the best throw he's probably made of his career was on a rope to that player. Then you never use it again. My point is this. If you say, hey, yeah, we're throwing the ball, and the concept is check down, then that's on Daniel. Then we'll figure that out and say, okay, he's the reason. He's just looking for the safe play. Because there's a play against Bellinger in the second quarter in the 2-minute drill, which, by the way, was mind-boggling to me. They got the ball with 2 minutes to go, down 13-10. They looked like they were playing for the field goal. Right, there were no dynamic throws downfield. They tried to do an RPO action with Daniel Jones, which he was not necessarily a great runner in this game. He was a better scrambler in this game. And let me break that down for the folks of what I'm trying to say. A scrambler means he went back, he dropped the pass, they rolled him out, and then he saw a lane and went. As opposed to the RPO, which they had a little bit of a spy on him, especially in the second half, where they were not going to let him run on the RPO runs. But when the scramble runs happened and it was man, he did pick up some decent yardage there. But why not throw it in there? How many defensive PIs does this team have? We don't. It's like, come on. Don't wait till the last 2 minutes of the game to then throw 3 passes, one that dropped. Let me go over those sequence of passes real quick. One was Slayton dropped ball. Great. In his hands, dropped ball. Okay, that was on first down. You still had 2 more downs to go down the field and get the field goal range. The second pass was a deep pass to Slayton again, which was underthrown and not a very good pass. The last pass in that same series, mind you, it's 3rd and 3, and it's 3rd and 10, and they still have a chance to move the football down the field inside 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. They then Daniel Jones then forces the pass to Isaiah Hodgins. So my point is that if you're gonna trust him and play him, let's be aggressive because you're not gonna win with 20 points a game. I'm sorry, you're not beating the Eagles with the offense you put out there on Sunday. You guys can tell me all you want. That's fine. Be a fan. You're not gonna beat them on Sunday like that.
No, absolutely not. Not like that. That's for sure. But we'll definitely be talking about that a lot more in depth a lot later on in the show. But this offense, it's just like everybody in the chat is, I hear you, Adam, man. It's you got to figure out. You got to get out their own way. You got to figure out a way to start just trying to make some plays because I think putting way too much on this defense, which is definitely not as great as we like to think it is. I mean, we're getting by and we're doing some good things on that side of the ball, but we also do have some serious cracks over there, and it's putting too much pressure. This offense is putting way too much pressure on this defense, man. It's got to start pulling its own weight a little bit here and doing a little better and figuring something out. Like you said, consistency with this offense. I mean, and somebody mentioned up in there, like maybe they are, like you guys said, that maybe they just don't trust Daniel Jones. Like we talked about earlier, I think they don't trust this whole entire offense, which is not a good look.
Right, but that's part of that's on him too.
Well, I'm not saying, I'm not discluding, when I say the whole offense, I'm talking about the whole offense. Barkley, Daniel Jones, everybody included.
Well,
I'm talking about the whole offense. Nobody's excluded off of what I'm saying there.
The problem that I have
the whole offense is a field.
Where's the aggressiveness that we tried to see? Like, where is that? All of a sudden, that mindset seems to have gone away. You know what I mean? Like, let's see what happens, because if you play the Eagles, who, by the way, are looking at us, they're a pretty good team. If you are going to play this way, you're going to lose football games. You can't play this is what Joe Judge did last year. This is the exact thing that Joe Judge wanted to do last year. Grind it out, let your defense, which was your better unit, kind of win you the football game. And after they went up 20-13, that's what it felt like they were doing. Like, okay, we got the lead. We're just going to try to keep them at bay here, while their offense is struggling in the tank as well. By the way, the Commanders are moving the football up and down. The Giants, they got them to like the 50-yard line, and the Commanders have to punt. Meanwhile, our offense didn't do shit. They would be 1, 2, 3 and out and punt. And our punter, who's not the greatest punter, had some shanks that we needed to play better. Like, this whole team right now is in a rut. I don't know how they're going to get out of this rut. I don't know what it's going to take to get out of this rut. I thought if you were going to win a game, this was the game you needed to win. And I keep telling you, and I told this to Miz, and he knows it, we both spoke about the Lions game being a crucial game. And right now you're seeing exactly what I'm talking about. Because this game against the Lions that we lost a couple weeks ago is I feel has put us in a tailspin right now that we can't seem to get out of. Because if we got to win number 8 right now, I'm not as concerned about this game right now. But we didn't win that game, and then we tied at this game, and now we're going to their building in 2 weeks.
That's another good point where Alex put up here in the chat, man. The Giants had the opportunity to pass the football more on first down versus Detroit and Houston, and they didn't, and they ran Barkley's legs out. I mean, that's another good point way to look at it. I mean, I think we all understand Barkley is the absolute best player on this offense, but the problem is the other team knows that as well. So you just got to figure out more clever ways to utilize him and take advantage of his talent against these opposing defenses. And I feel like we're just kind of going out there and still just making it easy for opposing defenses. As you've seen these last couple of weeks, Barkley has been pretty ineffective. I mean, it just is.
Well, he had a decent game this
He scored
this
a touchdown. Yeah, he scored a touchdown. Had an all right game, better than the last couple games. But at the same time, we still look for more.
You can't be outgained by the Commanders. You can't be outgained by the Commanders.
I mean, Brian Robinson had another pretty sensational game. This guy is getting his legs under him. I mean, after getting shot early in the year and really coming back. And like I was telling, I believe, Jeff the other day, I think this guy would be definitely in the mix for Rookie of the Year had he not missed all that time early in the season. I think
they need to use him more. In the next game, I think they'll use him more.
And so I just think that, like I said, the coaches, you got to figure it out. Like, this is what you guys get paid to do. You got to figure out what works with the guys that you got. And
right, and that's why you got to because here's the thing, they're not curtailing Barkley. I don't know what's wrong with Barkley at this point, but we know the defense is going after him, right? I don't know. Do something to swing it up, because right now the offense is 2 people. It's Jones and it's Barkley. And if you take away Barkley, Jones is just average, right? And that's what he is. You take him away, he's just an average guy. He's not going to do anything dynamic. Like I said about Cam Newton, I think that was a great comparison in terms of personnel. Cam Newton, when he played in 2015 and they didn't have the receivers on the outside, guess what? He would be able to take over a game if Jonathan Stewart was having a bad game. And I think the problem is right now is they know that Daniel can run. When he outrushes our running back, it's not a good look for us. Everyone thinks it is, but that's not good, because we usually lose those games that he outrushes. I mean, look at in the Dallas game. Look at in the this game we damn near lost. A few of the other losses we had, he used to be the leading rusher. So what we need to start to do is, if he can't pass us out of a game, then we need to figure something else out. We need to generate offense some other way, because I'm afraid this coaching staff understands certain things and is playing a little scared. And here's why. Because I think they're too busy worried about trying to get to the playoffs or trying to look good enough to not have a collapse or something. Because if we were in Washington, I guarantee you, and the roles were flipped, and Ron Rivera's at 4th and 3 inside the Giants' territory, I think he's going for it. Now, let's talk about them for a second. They had the ball in overtime, moved it down the field, and they had 3 plays that kind of screwed them up. I think they did a pass play where he was either sacked or knocked down. Then they did a run play that got nowhere, and then they did a stupid screen play where Zion Gilbert made the tackle. And if he hadn't, it's probably going for enough yardage. Maybe they're kicking a field goal. So, there was ample times on both sides for teams to win the game. And you need to win a game like this. I'm sorry. You just need to win a game.
Well, I'm glad. Alex, man, thanks once again for another great question for me, because this is something that I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, period, point blank and period, like the uses of these guys, Breida and Brightwell. What are they there for? They're there so Barkley doesn't have to take a beating constantly the whole entire game each and every week. They didn't even get a carry. Neither one of these guys even got a carry on Sunday in this game. And this is what I'm talking about this New York Giant offense. What this New York Giant offense has shown an ability to do well throughout the course of this season is run the football in most games pretty effectively. You got to utilize your weapons. And these guys, whether you like it or not, are a couple of better weapons, in my opinion, than the receivers were out there trying to force and throw passes to. You know what I mean? And if you got to utilize these guys a little bit more and make them more of a part of this offense, that's what needs to be done. And you can't just keep sitting on them and having them sitting away, wasting away on the sideline while we're tying games with the fucking Washington Commanders.
Right.
Like, that's just absolutely ridiculous to me. Like, you got to bring these, like I said, you can't do it all game, obviously, but you got to sprinkle those packages in more and keep these defenses on their heels. They can't just know that you're just going to turn around and stick the ball in Barkley's chest. Make them think about it.
Well,
make them think about it. You can do, and then Matt Breida, like we were talking about yesterday, Adam, when we were on the phone talking, Matt Breida is the type you can bring him in, do different things with him. You can line him out wide, split him out wide a little bit. Utilize these skill sets. Do what you got to do to get your best playmakers on the field. Point blank and period. And we're not doing enough of that right now with these New York Giants. Slayton is not a number 1 receiver. He's not. He's not.
No,
Newsflash, Darius Slayton's not a number 1 wide receiver. Well, sure, he leads the way for us because we don't have no other choice. We ain't got nobody else. But he's not a number 1. That just is what it is.
Unpopular opinion says it best. He says Dan Campbell called out Brian Dable, saying he's playing coward football. And I agree to a certain extent. He is playing coward football because of this offense. And with this offense that they're playing right now, you can't play scared. Every game's a playoff game for the Giants right now. Every game. And if you got to take it like that, right? This is how much the NFL thinks we're so good, right? Because we'll get into the Eagle game in a minute, and we'll get off this game soon. But the offensive line, let's talk about them. First off, John Feliciano. I don't care if I ever see you in a Giant uniform again. I have 5 more weeks of that guy, and then he's out of here. Okay? Nick Gates is clearly not healthy. And the other person that they play at guard, Mark Golowinski, I want my refund. I want a refund. I want my money back for the $21 million we gave you for 2 seasons. Because right now, after 10 games, I mean, maybe the Colts knew something, right? I don't know. But he has played like absolute trash, okay? And the interior of that line is terrible. And I'm telling you, this feels like Joe Judge last year. It's like, okay, we're just going to give it to Barkley. I know Barkley is the best player, and they built their entire offense as it, and we know that he's the catalyst to make this offense go. You're seeing it right now. If he doesn't function, the entire offense doesn't function. That's what Jason Garrett did. Jason Garrett did that in 2020, right? He came in, That was the year that Barkley busted his leg, right? Matt, 2020 was that the year that he?
2020 was the
Okay,
ACL tear
so
against Chicago.
Judge comes in 2020, right? He builds his entire offense around Barkley. Barkley goes down. They have no other resource other than to play conservative and try to grind out football games, right? And that's why they're doing the curl routes because of the bad offensive line. The next year, Barkley comes back again. They try to get Kenny Galladay because they're trying to play an Eric Coryell type of system, play action pass, throw the ball downfield. Didn't work out because of the offensive line. So what did Jason Garrett do? Jason Garrett made the offense very simple. 5-yard hitch routes that we all hated and didn't read, right? This guy comes in, he gets fired, gone, bye-bye. We bring in Brian Dable, and all we hear about is the fun we're going to have, the functioning offense that we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. This is a very quarterback-friendly offense, and yet all I see is the same shit I saw last year. We can't even score 30 points. There was a stat the other day that said the Giants haven't scored 30 points in over 4 years. Maybe even more than
4 years. It's been that long? Seriously? Has it seriously been 4 years? I didn't realize it's been that long. Jesus. That's scary to think. That's ugly to think.
The Giants don't, but the thing is, the Giants don't even have a good offense right now to play ball control. They want to play ball control offense. They can't play ball control offense because their offensive line is there was Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen in the backfield on almost every damn play.
They were. That interior of the offensive line is absolutely a disgrace right now. And it has to be addressed. I mean, we've been having issues the last couple of years with the tackles, and now this year is clearly the bigger issue is shifted to the interior.
I mean, Daniel Jones has been sacked 37 times. The most in the NFL.
Is coming here, and I just don't. I feel like sold a can of goods, man. This dude is just. He came in. Oh, Gawinski, he's great. You guys got this guy from the coach. Yeah, he's awesome. Now,
we overpaid for him too.
Anything but awesome. Anything but that. This dude is very, very average at best. Feliciano, this dude is just not the center that you're looking for. And that penalty late in the game, look.
That's a foul defense.
Like I said, I'm on the record saying I thought it was a bullshit call, but at the same time, they called it nonetheless, and you just can't have that right then.
If that were Parcells, that guy would be gone.
You just can't have it in that situation, right? That was a critical situation in which we pretty much were in position to wrap the game up. And once again, something like that, we takes us backwards and loses all the momentum, whatever momentum we had in that situation of the game. So it's like I said, it's collectively, this offense in general is just bad, it's broken, and it's pretty rotten to the core right now, man. And they better figure it out because the Eagles are coming to town on Sunday, and guess what they know how to do? Put up points in a bunches. So, look, we're going to have to figure something out this week. I mean, like we were talking about it, me and Adam, and like I said, my opinion of the New York Giants season is we have been forcing teams into ugly football games, but this Eagles team is a different animal, something we haven't seen all year long, and we gonna get a a big dose of reality on Sunday if we don't figure something the hell out, man. Straight up. Thanks for dropping links in the chat, Jeff. I really appreciate that, bro. Sub up to Unpopular Opinion Sports. Sub up to my guy NYG Jeffy T85.
They do a great show.
Definitely putting in that work. That heart of the city is awesome show, man.
I got to join them late last night, and they hung around a little longer to entertain my old ass, and it was a very entertaining show. Give them props to do what they do. They did a great job. They fielded a lot of good questions, and really enjoyable. I think the personalities meshed very well. So thank you for letting me be a part of that, fellas, last night. And get on with those guys, man. They're gonna be ruling New York City soon. We're gonna see them soon.
Absolutely, man. Any more just final thoughts before we move on to another game, man?
The Giants are gonna have a tough road over the next 3 weeks. This is gonna be a tough next couple weeks. I don't really have much more. It's just a tie is just so bad.
All right. I got nothing else, man. This offense needs to get it the fuck together, and I'm about tired of watching it looking like absolutely atrocious every week, finding new ways to look bad every week. That's what
Well,
I feel like this offense is
that's
doing.
like they're
Just
losing,
find
right? It feels like they're losing right now. It feels like they're mentally not ready to handle the pressure of being a winning football team.
like all they had to do. They had so many opportunities to put this game away and just couldn't. And I blame it mostly on the offense. I'm sorry, I just
The coaching
have to. Like I
staff.
said, the offense and the coaching staff. I mean, they're calling the plays. You're right, but this offense got to go out there and execute. Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing. That whatever play Richie James, Saquon Barkley, running into each other in the backfield. Take that, rip it out the playbook, throw it away. I never want to see it again. Never want to see it again.
It looked like
Never want to see that again.
didn't even know what he was doing.
I don't ever want to see that again.
Oh my god! Why does
That's
it feel
all
a
I gotta
loss,
say about
even though
that.
it's a tie?
Oh.
Why does it feel like a loss?
Like I said, a loss feel like a loss for us, feel like a win for them. I mean, the Commanders were okay getting out of there with that tie. That's up to them. However they want to feel about it. This tie, like to me, is the only thing I can say positive about this tie is it does keep our heads a little bit above the water still. But that's looking at the can, looking at the glass half full. You know what I mean? Like really, and that's just about all I can say about that. Let's move the hell on. Let's move the hell on. All right. We got the Tennessee Titans. Traveled up to the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday, man, and I did not see this outcome coming. Not the outcome. I expected the Eagles to win the football game because they're just flat out better team. I didn't see them absolutely trashing the Tennessee Titans like this. I thought Tennessee was going to be a tough matchup for them just because of the way the Tennessee offense is built, but not at all. Eagles, no problem, ran right through the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. What you got, Adam?
I'm going to eat some crow here, eating it. It's tasting very good over here as I picked the Tennessee Titans to upset the Philadelphia Eagles because I thought if they were going to lose one game, this was the team that fit the profile to beat them. And they went up there and absolutely got destroyed. And, again, I'm on those Twitter spaces and the YouTube channels, and I kind of troll around here and there, just, try to support my guys. They don't know that I'm in the chat or if I'm even listening at that point. And I was talking about how the Eagles played nobody. And I wanted to blow a gasket because I said they're playing the exact same schedule we're playing, minus like two teams, okay? They're playing the AFC North winner or the AFC North person. I think that was the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then they're also playing they played the Minnesota Vikings, okay? Everybody, not the Minnesota Vikings, excuse me, the South team, right? The NFC South team, because we played the NFC Central. We played the same teams they did. Yeah. We played Detroit, we played Minnesota, we played Green Bay, okay? They played those teams. We played our AFC North opponent, and we played all the AFC. It's the NFC West opponent. They're playing shit. Who are they? Not
talking about the Eagles.
Yes.
Who, the Eagles?
They're playing the NFC
Rams.
West. Who are they playing? They play the Rams?
The Eagles? No, not the Rams. The Cardinals. The Cardinals.
Yes, there it is. So that's the only basic difference is the Cardinals and basically the AFC North person that we play, right? Everybody else is the same. So don't tell me the Eagles didn't play anybody because, I hate to say this, and it pains me to say this. It pains me to say this. But the lack of respect that we're giving the Eagles, even at 11-1, is mind-blowing. This guy is Jalen Hurst, played an exceptional football game. Okay, go look at his numbers. They didn't even run the football.
NFC Offensive Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row.
He threw for 380 yards, and he threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for 1. I might be wrong on that. He might have had 4 touchdowns and ran for 1. Whatever the case may be. This game was such a blowout.
Right the first time.
They put in Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
So my point is they didn't even run the football. They didn't even run. You know what Nick Sirianni said? All they did was play the run. They stopped the run, so we passed it on them. So I don't want to hear about Jalen Hurts not being a good passer because you know what this Eagle team does? They win on all 3 levels of offense. They win by grinding it out. They win by passing it, and they can win on special teams because their kicker Jake Elliott is phenomenal. Okay, and they just find ways to win football. This is what winning teams do. They don't go down and give up 6 possessions and kick it back to the team. No, they go down and find a way to win. They damn near scored on every freaking drive they touched the ball.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they were a juggernaut, man. Eagles offense on that field. When their offense is on that field, it's just dangerous, man. That offense is explosive, and like you just said, they can win in many different ways. They can do it whatever they need to do. They can pass and win. They can run and win. Whatever it takes, this team can figure out a way to get the job done, and that's what's so damn dangerous about them. And you're right, it's not enough people putting
and
a lot
this
of
is a
respect
good
on
team.
it. People are still wanting to call the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs better than this football team. This 11-1 football team in the NFC East. People are still trying to convince themselves that the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs or whoever the hell else is better than this football team. No. This is the best football team in the NFL. I hate saying it, but it's the fucking truth. It is what it is. They are the best team in the NFL. I hate giving them props, but it's the truth. The Eagles are that good. They are that good. Jalen Hurts, to me, is the MVP of the league. Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Can we respect that, man? Because here's the other thing. I know people are going to tell me about personnel, and that's fine. I don't give a shit. What Hurst is doing, you look at what our quarterback is doing, they're almost the same thing, almost have the same kind of style, right? 300 yards and 11 touchdowns and 4 rushing touchdowns. Jalen Hurst has 2,900 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 9 rushing touchdowns. He has almost double the amount of touchdowns our quarterback has in one season, okay? And not to mention he has over 600 yards rushing. Now, Daniel Jones also have a good rushing year as well. But my point is, this guy is showing you he can pass the ball, he can run the ball. If you need him to run 147 yards, he can do that. You need him to throw for 380 yards, he can do that. That's what I'm talking about when we talk about a winning team. I know people want to talk about personnel, but you have to be a quarterback that gets your guys elevated. When your shit doesn't work, you've got to be the guy that takes the team over. In the last few games, that's what he does. The game against the Colts, he took the game over. And he said, fine, I'm going to throw a dime to this guy, to not his star receiver, but Quez Watkins, one of his receivers. And then he said, against this game, against Green Bay, he decided, you know what, I'm going to run because that's what we need. I'm going to run 157 yards touchdowns. In this game, well, they're selling out to stop the run. I'm going to pass over the top. He had 7 passes of over 20 yards in that game.
I mean, like you said, this Eagle offense is very dangerous. But look, I'm going to say another stat line here. 11 carries for 30 yards. Longest run of the day, 6 yards. That's what this Eagle defense was able to do to Derrick Henry also on Sunday. Completely took him out of the game. After it got to a point where they couldn't turn around and keep handing the ball off to him, obviously with the score getting out of hand. But the point is, they took this man out of the game completely and made him a non-factor. And that's exactly what they're going to try to do on Sunday to Saquon Barkley, which right now, with the way the state of this New York Giant offense, is probably going to be an easier task than what they had to deal with on Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. So Giants offense, once again, I'm just going to say, get it together. But enough of that, because we ain't talking about y'all right now. This Eagle team is just, they're dangerous. But I see you guys in the chat.
They're better than the team that won the Super Bowl. They're better than the team that won the Super Bowl. The team that won the Super Bowl had a putrid defense. Their defense was absolutely terrible, right? And their offense was good. You know, it wasn't like this. Peterson was good. They had him running the football. They were more of a run-dominant team. But Nick Sirianni has got these guys hitting on all. It pains me to say. I have to be real though. It can't be a rosy-colored thing. You know what I mean? I went on the Eagle channel last night. You got to know who you're lying in bed with, right, as an enemy, right? So they go in their channel just to see what they're saying, and they said, "Hey, you're the realest Giant fan we know because you just say it like it is." And it's like I can't go in there saying, "Hey, the Eagles, are going to lie down for the Giants on Sunday," because I know that's not going to happen. Look at the way they've won games. I know people are going to point to the Colts game, but that was a snooze fest. Why? Because they probably took the Colts lightly, right? And at the end of the game, they found a way to win it, even if it wasn't their best game. So they win ugly as well. So this team does it all. And they need to be respected. Jalen Hurts doesn't get the respect he deserves. And I hate to say that because he's an Eagle, but he really is playing outstanding football.
MVP of the league, in my opinion. And it's not easy to say that. It's not easy to admit that when you're a New York Giant fan living a half hour outside of Philly and got to deal with Eagle fans all day long. But the fact of the matter is, those are what I feel are the facts. Jalen Hurts is the MVP of the league. The Eagles are the best team in the league. Stop trying to put other teams in front of them. It's just, to me, disrespectful. And this NFC East, I agree with unpopular opinion, man. As far as from the Giants, they got to start beating teams in this division, or it's just not going to get the job done, man.
We were 1-5 last year. Our one victory came against the Eagles, and they've lost to the Giants twice in our building.
Right now, we're 0-2-1 right now. 0-2-1 in the division right now. Yes, and 1. Yeah. That's what I mean about the tie. You got to throw in that and 1. You know what I mean at the end of when you're saying the record. And I just don't like having to say that and 1. So yeah, it's just ridiculous. But welcome in, Rex. Saying I don't know you, but thanks for stopping in. Thanks for stopping in, checking us out, man. Good to see you here, bro. Make sure you subscribe up to me, Adam, Hardcore Network. Some of the other great guys in the chat, Unpopular Opinion Sports, NYG, Jeffy T85, you all dropping good content, man. Appreciate the support, man. But yeah, this Eagle team is just. Usually I get pumped up, I get excited for Eagle Week, but this team is so good this year, and we're in a spot right now where we've been on shaky ground the last few weeks that it's like we're not catching them at a good time for us.
Right.
I feel like. I mean,
it's about when you catch them. I thought, you know what, Mac, we must have same synergy, because I was thinking about the same thing too. I was like, if we were catching this team at 6-2 or 6-1, when we were rolling, I would be like, all right, we have a chance to beat Philly because they're like only 7-0, whatever, right? They're now 11-1, and we're struggling in the last 3. In the last 4 games, we're 1-2-1.
Yeah, exactly. This has been our worst stretch of the season by far,
and we're paying for it.
And now we got to play the best team in football. So just put that into perspective. About it doesn't get any easier for the Giants. Giants got to figure out a way to somehow channel some kind of upset on Sunday. We'll talk about.
Oh, and by the way, just to add salt to the wound, Adoree Jackson didn't practice and Leonard Williams didn't practice today, but that's here nor there.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible you may be getting Xavier McKinney back in the lineup for Sunday, but
he didn't practice either.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything to confirm whether he'll actually be out there. But you got any final thoughts on this Eagles-Tennessee Titans game, man? Before we No, I don't either. We'll talk about the Eagles a little bit more in a little bit. We'll be back to y'all. But we did have one more game Sunday night down in Big D. And boy, this game started off kind of like, is the Colts going to slide an upset in here on us and and knock the Cowboys off? And then the fourth quarter happened, and the Cowboys completely closed the door on any thought of that happening, with a big 33-point fourth quarter just blowing the doors off of the Indianapolis Colts and making this an absolute laugher, man. So take it away, Adam.
Well, the Cowboys kind of lit the fire of the Super Bowl talk again by beating this team. Now, I know people want to laugh at them and are going to probably say the same thing that we're saying this week, is we have a chance to keep the game close. Well, the talent of the Cowboys eventually took that game over. I mean, the Colts held water until about halftime. They scored 21-19, and then the Cowboys just constantly put Matt Ryan under duress. And fumbles, interceptions. I think they had 5 turnovers in this game, and so the Cowboys seem to be hitting their stride right now. And I know a lot of people are, saying, well, they're not going to win. This team, when they put it together, are probably one of the best in football. I mean, they are responsible this season for the 2 highest scoring games this year, with a 40-point effort against the Minnesota Vikings and, the drubbing of the Colts 53 points against them. Which is kind of embarrassing when someone puts 53 points on you. That's absolutely embarrassing. And they're trying to make a statement. I don't know what this means. I don't know if that means they're going to be in the Super Bowl. But I'll tell you this right now. I know Philly plays, the Cowboys on Christmas Eve. They may also be playing in January, those 2 teams. Okay. and it could be for all the marbles. I hate to say that. It could be an NFC East team representing against the Buffalo Bills. Imagine if it's the Cowboys-Bills, a rematch. I mean, the Bill fans would love that, try to get their hands on the Cowboys again for stealing a couple back in the day, but we would have a repeat Super Bowl. That would be crazy. Or it could be Philadelphia versus Kansas City, and we would have Andy Reid versus his old former team. So many storylines if that happens, but Cowboys are back in it. This is the reason why I think the Eagles are going to play all the way through. Everyone's like, oh, the Eagle game in 2 weeks. If they lose somehow to the Cowboys on Christmas Eve, right, then that game against us is probably for the division and for home field. Not to mention Minnesota will have caught them at that point as well.
Well, I agree. I mean, I think the Eagles are going to have to play all the way through, which is kind of good for me because I got tickets for that last game of the season. So now we'll probably get to see some actual players on the field.
Well, thanks.
I won't be just watching their backups. But
no, we won't be going live because me and Mac are not going together. But
But at the same time, I agree. The Cowboys are putting the pressure on the Eagles a little bit, keeping the Eagles honest. Eagles are going to have to continue to play at their top level to keep the Cowboys at bay. I mean, I'm talking about just in the division right now because the Cowboys can still very much win this division. You know what I mean? I think it's safe to say the Giants and the Commanders can't really win the division. They can still obviously get wild card spots, but the Cowboys can actually still win this division against the Eagles. So they got to keep the Eagles got to keep them at bay, and that's going to mean they're going to have to keep playing full force. Full tilt, and that means including probably that last game of the season where potentially we can play the role of spoilers for the Eagles in the division race, depending what happens in the next few weeks with the Eagles games. You never know, but we'll see when we get to all of that. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens when we get to all of that. I mean, it's just the things that the scenarios that are lined up in this NFC East division, man. A lot of good football, man. A lot of good football, big important games coming down the stretch in this division. I think this division is clearly the lifeline of the NFC conference this season. Right now, all four teams have a pretty legitimate chance of making the postseason, something that's never ever happened before. I mean, I still don't think that's very likely, in my humblest of opinions. But
3 teams at the beginning in August. I remember that.
But right now, as things stand, the Washington Commanders are only like about a half game out of that last playoff spot.
Not to mention Seattle and the 49ers.
And the New York Giants are still clinging to a 6th seed right now. So
that's why that Giants-Commanders game. I mean, even the NFL doesn't think we're going to win on Sunday. They flexed the game against Washington to Sunday night because they know that the Giants are going to end up 7-5-1. Sorry to burst your bubbles, people. And the Commanders are going to be 7-5-1, and that's basically for the playoffs. Whoever wins that game is going to be in the playoffs. Whoever loses that game is probably.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that, man. And
54-19. Oh my God, that score is so ugly.
Yeah, I like NYG up here saying too. Unpopular opinion sports, man. Yeah, it's probably going to be for the playoffs. This is going to be like that do or die game. Whichever one of y'all want this. There's a playoff spot there for y'all. Go out there and get it because right now, the way things is looking, I mean, San Fran lost their quarterback on Sunday and still took care of business against the Miami Dolphins and handled their business out there with a quarterback. I don't even know who the hell their quarterback was in that game on Sunday. And yeah, Brock Purdy, that guy, a guy named Brock Purdy, took care of business, knocking off one of the better teams in the NFL, the Miami Dolphins, on Sunday to keep their 49ers alive in that division, man, keeping them ahead of Seattle in that division. Who Seattle is not letting their foot off the gas either. And remember, the Seattle Seahawks have that tiebreaker on the Giants. So it's critical down the stretch. These games for the New York Giants are going to be critical, man. What do you think? You think there's any chance that all 4 of these teams can still make the playoffs, though, Adam? Any chance at all?
Not at all. Because this is what happens. If you beat Washington, they're basically eliminated because you'll have the tiebreaker over them, and then Seattle will just have to can cruise to a victory. But if you lose, if the Giants lose, it's probably less likely that they make it because then you have Seattle who's playing the Panthers on Sunday, the Rams again, so they could win those 2 games. You know, they're not out of the realm of possibilities. And now they can beat the 49ers because guess what? They don't have their quarterback. So that game is also a different game. So maybe with the quarterback, Seattle might have a different chance if they put up points. So we'll see. And then you have the Commanders who basically have the Cleveland Browns, the Giants, and then it's basically the 49ers and the Cowboys are also on their schedule. So if this is why this game is so critical. This is why I think we needed to win this game on Sunday, not tie, because I think that was the play. I think that was the playoffs bid really for the Giants on Sunday, right? If they win that game Sunday against the Redskins doesn't mean anything in 2 weeks. It just means you have a chance. They have a chance to kind of save their season, right? Instead, it didn't happen that way. Here we are now, where our lives are going to be on the line. And right now, the Giants haven't proven to me that they're ready. I think they're starting to. We'll get into that in a minute. I'm not going to go any further. Anyways, the Cowboys are the best team, second best team, and the other teams are kind of trying to catch up where the Cowboys are. That's what it looks like.
I totally agree, man. I totally agree. I like I said, it's going. Like I said, down this stretch, you got Eagles and Cowboys fighting for the division. Giants and Washington, they just fighting this stuff just to get into the postseason. I think there's no hope, no real thought in the Giants or Washington actually win this division. So this is definitely going to be a divisional race between the Cowboys and Eagles the rest of the way. And like I said, we're now Washington and the Giants are just playing and hoping that they can somehow still get in there. I think this weird thing about this tie is, from some regards, with the Giants, it helps with the Seattle situation. Only in the aspect if we can win football games the rest of the way, because it'll give us that little edge over them where we can maintain that at least one more win than them. Because obviously we won't be able to finish with a tie with the Seattle Seahawks now. You know what I mean? Where that gives them that tiebreaker edge, because that tie, by not losing that game, it's still kind of.
The Lions are still in it.
A little bit of hope. A little bit of hope in a scenario with the Seattle Seahawks. That's the only slightly good thing out of this tie.
Well, here's my thing
right
is I don't think the tie is good at all. I think you should just win and lose because then you'd have a clearer vision. But let's say the Lions haven't gone some amazing run, right? It's not out of the realm of possibilities. They go 4-1 down the stretch, right? Or even 3-2, which would put them at like 8-9, right? If they get 8-9, and we end up at 8-1, we could possibly be bounced, or they might be in if they get to 9 wins. So, there's a lot riding on these games. That Lion game and this tie are the reason why the Giants may be sitting home in January. Because everyone thinks the Colts are an easy win, and I don't know if they are. I really don't. Just because they got shellacked by the Cowboys, who are over the top, good offensively. The Colts play solid defense when they can, and a team like the Giants who don't score points, it's not a guaranteed win.
Well, the Giants don't have any guaranteed wins. Like we already talked about earlier, this all offensively, just basically offensively how the New York Giants is constructed, there's definitely nothing, because nothing's a guarantee for them. But like I was saying earlier, the New York Giants have forced everybody on their schedule, win, lose, or draw, into ugly football games, no matter who it was, whether it was the Cowboys, whether it was the Packers, the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they forced teams into ugly football games, and that they're going to have to continue to do that. But they got to figure out a way to put up enough points to still win the game, close the deal, and finish teams off like they were doing earlier in the year. That's what the problem is now. They just haven't been able to do that in any of these situations, and they've been coming up on the short end of the stick in this past month of the season. So, not to, like I said, figure it out. But I don't know if you had any fond. We kind of got away, went down a rabbit hole a little bit, got away from the Cowboys Colts. I don't know if you had any other thoughts on that before.
I mean, that game was so out of hand. There's not really much to really touch on outside of that. We know what the Cowboys are. They're a Super Bowl contending team. There's a reason why they beat us. So
I agree with unpopular opinion here, man. I absolutely agree. Somehow find a way to get in, but it's going to be tough, no doubt, man. But you're right, like you said, this fan base has been we're starving for it right now, man. It's been a long, long time, man. So maybe they can find a way to get it done for us, for themselves. Just you can't. It's see coming into the season. I think everybody had fairly low expectations, and then the New York Giants start the season off the way they did, and it's like now expectations have completely flip flopped, and it's like it's right there for the taking. And we got. I don't want to see this team let it slip away. I want to see this team compete into January in a rebuild year. Make that statement while you're still rebuilding, still getting into the playoffs and getting to the postseason. I mean, still so much work to do in the off season, but we're so close right now, and this NFC is absolutely terrible. That's the one thing that is keeping our heads above the water as well, is just how bad this conference is. We know that there's only going to be one team out of the North. We know there's only going to be one team out of the South. Looks like Seattle and San Fran have a pretty good shot right now, both of them getting in there from the West. But at the same time, one of them could still slip up as well. And then the same with the NFC East, man. It's clearly all four of those teams are very much in the mix as well. So we're going to see, man. But just win. That's the key. It's just win. Like Jeff said, just win, baby. Just like Dickie V used to say back in the day, just win.
And what is Al Davis?
I mean, yeah, I meant Al Davis. I don't know what. I was just saw a commercial with Dickie V.
Yeah, baby.
What's going on, Christopher Tony, man? Thanks for stopping in, brother. I really appreciate it, man. But yeah, let's move on. Talk real quick, go over this since we were just on the Dallas Cowboys. They got a game on Sunday, in-state rivalry. They get to play the absolute worst team in football.
They didn't have a chance, Mac.
I think they got a chance to pull this one off. I really, really do.
No, I mean, the Texans have a chance, Mac.
No, I don't. No, I don't think the Texans have a chance at all. Not a legit chance. As a matter of fact, the Houston Texans, if I'm not mistaken, are the biggest underdog of the season, of the whole entire season this week. If I'm not mistaken, they're like 17.5-point underdogs, if I saw that correctly. I don't think anybody's been a 17.5-point underdog all year against
I think they're going to probably lose by 17.
I think they're going to lose by about 30. But that's just I just think this team is nowhere near ready to be on the same field as the Dallas Cowboys. And in-state rivalry or not, it's not really much of a rivalry. And in this situation on Sunday in this game, it's not going to be much of a game, man. Damian Pierce, he's nice. I like what the kid does on the field. Unfortunately, he's not going to be nearly enough to deal with this Dallas Cowboy defense, which is absolutely ferocious. Micah Parsons, like I said, Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know how they could even make a case to give it to anybody else. But, yeah, Micah, it's just going to be a long day for the Houston Texans offense. Hell, it's going to be a long day for their defense as well. So I think that this is just one of those games where I know I always say that's why they play the game. But, yeah, this is going to be a long day for the Houston Texans.
And with the first pick in the 2023 draft, the Texans select, they might as well start preparing your draft plans because this team is over. This game is over. The Cowboys are going to snooze this game. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cooper Rush by the end of it. The Cowboys are getting powder puff games. This is why that game for them on Christmas Eve, because I think they have another easy game after that as well, or a winnable game after that, and then they go play the Eagles, right? And so the Cowboys, I don't even really want to talk about this game because it's not going to be much to talk about. It's how much they're going to lose by, right? They put 54 up on the Colts. I think they're going to try to go for 65, 70.
Well, I mean, I think once they get to about 40, they'll probably go ahead and slide Cooper Rush and let them finish the day off. The rest up some other guy, a couple other guys. But yeah, I can see the Cowboys just go all over the yard in here, man. And,
I mean, how many sacks do we predict over under for Micah Parsons? What, 3? I'm going to say over under 3 sacks.
I say Micah Parsons gets under because I feel like he'll get 2 in this one. He'll add 2 more to his amazing season in this one. I'm
going to put 3 down on the board. And
I feel like DeMarcus Lawrence is going to get a couple. They all going to be eating in this one, I feel like. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see about 3 to 4 interceptions from Davis Mills because that's the way he seems to play, and against a great defense like this Cowboys defense, I could see them having him completely shaken up, man. So we'll see what happens there, but I don't think Houston has much of a chance in this one, man. I just can't. I can't even find. I can't think of a scenario in my head that Houston Texans win this football game. No scenario. I mean, can to me, I don't know. Unpopular opinion, man. That's why I love them, man. That's why I love you, man. So I think the Texans keep it close, but because the Cowboys play down to their competition. I mean, I don't know, man. Houston
y'all
is
make me laugh, man. Y'all make me laugh.
to play down to the Houston Texans. You got to play way.
You got to play way down. Yeah, who's the third string quarterback on the Cowboys?
Yeah, like so. I don't. I mean, I would love for you to be right. I would love for Houston to pull off the upset of the year.
Their third running back. Their third running back has a touchdown. I mean, everybody was eating in that game. Their third running back had his first career touchdown in the game last week in the Cowboys. They had Tony Pollard, they had Ezekiel Elliott, and some other guy I don't even know, number 34, and they scored.
I don't know.
This is what it is. When you have a team that's so good and you play a team that's so bad, you can put your fucking water boy out there and he's going to fucking score touchdowns for you because that's how bad this Texan team is. They went from Kyle Allen. They thought it was an upgrade from Davis Mills to Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen was so bad they went back to Davis Mills.
I mean, fun fact though, I will hit y'all with fun facts. I hit y'all with the fun fact. Way back in like 2001 or 2000, whatever year, 2002, whatever year the Texans came into existence, their first regular season game after they drafted David Carr. Yeah, David Carr was their first number 1 overall draft pick at quarterback. They went out there in their first regular season game against the Dallas Cowboys, the heavily favored Dallas Cowboys, and they actually did win that football game. Now, that was many moons ago.
That was 20 years ago, Mac.
And I
Derek
don't
Carr.
see that same outcome happening today on Sunday, but I just like to throw that out there that they were also heavily favored as an expansion team in their first ever game against their in-state rivals, the Dallas Cowboys, and they got the job done. Hey, this is a fun fact for the day, y'all. That's it. Texans are going to get their asses kicked on Sunday. This is
listen. If you have money on the Texans and you think you can spare a few $100s, then you go put that money on the Texans and maybe you win some money. But I don't think you will.
I mean, they did play the Eagles hard.
Oh my God! Here we go.
This is different. These are different game, different matchup, and I don't see.
They got shut out by the Redskins.
I don't see this matchup at all. Yeah, they played the Eagles hard one week and then got destroyed by the Redskins. I mean, got me calling on the Redskins. The Commanders the next week. So
listen, 85 years ain't going away.
It's just they're a bad football team, and it just is what it is. And they're nowhere near on the Colts level. I mean,
yes, because we're terrible. Unpopular opinion.
They did play us tough too, but our offense is definitely not constructed like the Eagles.
Our offense scores 20 points. You know how many points we won them against? 24 points. 4 points. This is why. Let's get into our game.
A lot of teams tough early in the season, but at the same time, they're 1-10-1. Yeah, they also have an N1 at the end of their record too. 1-10-1.
Oh, you guys give the Texans team too much credit because you hate the Cowboys. I mean, my God. I mean, that's facts are the facts, man. I'm just saying. Because let's get into the Eagles-Giants, because this is another thing that's pissing me off.
Eagles and the New York Football Giants. Another big NFC East game matchup on Sunday. Two big division rivals right here. Just up the turnpike from each other. Just a little over an hour away from each other, man, and separated in distance. And it's a nasty rivalry that the Eagles have over the years of my lifetime as a New York Giant fan have just been pissing me off for the better part of the last 40 years of my life as a New York Giant fan, that they just seem to always find a way to beat us New York Football Giants, man. No matter what, even if the Giants are a better football team than them, which is not the case this year, obviously, but even in seasons where the Giants have been the better team, the Eagles are always just that team that just for some reason, like that gnat that won't go away when you're trying to eat your barbecue on the 4th of July or something, and you got to keep swatting that gnat away. That's what the Eagles are to the New York Giants. For some reason, they just always find a way to piss me off when we play them. It's something about this damn team that the Giants cannot figure a formula out of success against the Philadelphia Eagles, man. What you got, Adam, man? Just what you got, bro.
Oh my God! I'm gonna a mini soapbox here. So again, people, I run on a few Twitter Spaces and some YouTube pages. Don't ever do it. Don't be a troll and lurk in the background like me, because your ears may bleed from some of the stupidity that comes out of people's mouths. So a content creator who we all like, I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to put him on blast because we're not enemies or anything like that. But he was in a chat and he said the Giants are going to win 35-17. I said, hold up. Where in the hell are they getting 35 points from? Who are they getting 35 points from? The Giants have never scored 35 points against the Eagles, I don't even think, in their history. And you want me to believe they're going to score 35 points this game?
That would be incorrect, Adam. We have definitely scored at least 30 points against the Eagles in their history. Come on.
What, in the 70s?
No. I've seen us score 30 points against the Eagles before. I know I have. I can't exactly pinpoint.
You don't know exactly the date. That's how long ago it was. Okay? That's how foggy of a memory it was. Okay? How about I generalize it? In the last decade, how have we scored 30 points?
That's a negative. That would be
okay. So now we're going to score 35 points with our Richie James. Ooh, David Sills. Ooh, our healthy scratch of a receiver, Kenny Golladay. Ooh, we're going to score 35. Well, give me a break. We can't even get out of our own goddamn way for a person in the backfield. We had 3 stooges on. If there was NFL Follies, NFL Films, remember that stupid show? We'd be on it for that stupid play. Well, look at the Giants. You can play the circus music with that play that happened. Right? They're playing conservative. So now just shoot for 30. Okay, yeah. How about you just shoot for winning the game the way you can win the game? I mean, my God.
That's all I want. I don't care if we only score 10 points and we win the game. That's all that. I'm good with that. I don't, at this point, I just want to win. We just need W's here.
I mean, here's Cold Cowboys. Giants, oh my God, Cold Cowboys. He's smoking that crack because he wants to win for the Cowboy game. I mean, Cold Cowboy was doing that in AK stream yesterday. He was saying, oh, they're going to beat it. No, Mike, this is here. Listen. People are going to think I'm not a Giant fan because, you're so negative. You're not going to be, you don't believe the Giants can win. Yeah, I don't believe the Giants can win. When I look at the Giants on paper and I look at the damn Eagles on paper and I look with my eyes when I see it on this football team, great. We're going to score 20 points. They're going to score 40. That's what they do. Oh, let's ball control. The Giants can't ball control for shit. They had guys in the backfield every day. They've got Ndamukong Suh, Lenville Joseph, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox. They're going to come in waves, okay? Not to mention, they already know they're getting disrespected by this Giant team, and they want to put a hurt on us.
I mean,
2010. That's fucking 12 years ago.
Okay, here we go. Here we go, Adam, man. We have our discussions on Tuesday, and we talk, have a lengthy phone conversation. So you know what side I am on this with this. That's why they play the game. That's why they play the game side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay,
Texans are going to beat the Cowboys on Sunday.
And here we go, because at the end of the day, this is still NFC East football, NFC East rivals, and I hear how great the Eagles' offense is. I know how great the Eagles' offense is. Phenomenal. Not taking nothing away from that. But has anyone only one team put up more than 30 points on the Giants this season, and that was the damn Detroit Lions of all teams to do it. That's the only team that surpassed 30 points on the New York Giants season. We played the Cowboys twice. We've all agreed how explosive their offense is. We know how great their defense is. And we played the Cowboys fairly competitively both times. All things considering, we played them fairly competitively both times. So this is NFC East football we're talking about. And if you played the game on paper, then yeah, you're right. The Eagles, it's a blowout. It's not even close. It's not even nothing to talk about. But they play the game on the field. And the New York Giants, like I said, 7-4-1 New York Giants, win, lose, or draw, have forced teams into playing ugly football, ugly style football. We have not played all our games have been kind of grinded out, no matter the ones we won, lost, whatever. It's just, and tied. So it's just, It's just what we've been doing. It's just what this New York Giants team has also been forcing teams to do. And we're going to have to rely heavily on the defense, obviously, because they're going to have their hands full with this Eagle offense, and that pass rush is going to have to get home to Jalen Hurts. You got to contain him in that pocket. You cannot let him get outside and get loose and do the things that he does absolutely best. Probably as good as anybody in this league now, other than, I would say, Patrick Mahomes, to be quite frank, and maybe Josh Allen, maybe. But Jalen Hurts is playing like on that type of level, honestly, whether you like it or not, and it's just the facts. So you got to contain this man. You got to keep him under control, and like we did in that first matchup last year, force him to make mistakes. That's what you got to do. You got to force him to make the mistakes, man. And you gotta stay composed.
What mistakes?
You got to force him to make mistakes.
What mistakes?
Like
they had 3 interceptions. They had like 3 turnovers the entire year.
Well, look, that's the point. That doesn't matter. We got to force them and figure out a way to make them make mistakes. Like I said, when we played Jalen Hurts and the Eagles a year ago, Jalen Hurts had probably one of his worst games of the season. You got to figure a formula to make it happen. You gotta. That's what the coaches got to put together. Some kind of a game plan. You're gonna need a big dose of these guys right here: Mr. Thibodeau, Mr. Ojulari, Mr. Lawrence. Hope Leonard Williams is okay to play. Zimenez, yeah, you're coming back down to earth a little bit. We're gonna still need you. Jahad Ward. We're gonna need all of those guys, and they're gonna all have to rise to the occasion some kind of way. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm just saying that's what needs to happen, and that's what needs to happen. And we have seen it happen a couple of times this season, so hopefully we can see it happen again. Point in the plank in the period is I'm not picking us to win this football game because I can't do that with a clear conscience. But at the same time, I'm not counting us completely out of this game either because it's an NFC East divisional matchup, and I've seen crazy things over the years in this division in particular, and shit goes down in the NFC East. And there's always a way, and that's exactly why they play the game on Sunday on the field, and you don't just rule it out and say, well, Eagles are just way better, just give them the win and go ahead and don't even play this game. That's why they go out there and play the game, because anything can happen. And I get it. The New York Giants, we are not as good as the Eagles, by no means. By no means. And if we played them 10 times this season, they would definitely win, I would say at least minimum 8. At least at the minimum. But the point is we're playing them on Sunday, and as long as we can find a way to be better than this team on Sunday, we got to channel whatever it is we got to channel, whatever energy, whatever, you know how they do on that Dragon Ball Z and all that crazy shit they do, channel all that energy, you know what I mean, and make something happen. Figure out a way. Just figure out a way. That's what it comes down to. We know we're not better than this team. We got to figure out a way to be better than them. And that's going to come down to a lot of good coaching, and it's going to come down to execution on Sunday. You can't be out there screwing up against this Eagles football team. You can't leave opportunities on the field. You can't give them extra opportunities. So we're going to have to play good, clean football and figure out a way to make it happen. It's not necessarily all that likely, but it can happen. It's not impossible either. It's not out of the realm of possibility. What's going on here, squad? Appreciate you stopping in, bro.
So, I don't have anything to really respond because I think everybody has entitled to their opinion, but I think what I see on the field with my eyes is a team that's not ready for this. And I know Cade, whatever the heck his name is saying, well, you said last week they were going to lose to the Cowboys. The game was not even close in the second half. And if you watch the football game, it probably should have been a blowout, but the Cowboys played, they beat, right? They didn't play their A game, and they still beat us. That's what could happen with the Eagles. They could beat us with their C game. That's how good this football team is. And I think it's damn, and I hate to say this because I'm a Giant fan, and people think I'm not a Giant fan. The fan in me knows we're in for a tall order. The realist in me knows this ain't going to be no easy thing. I don't think we have a chance at beating them. I just don't. talent-wise, I think they're better than us. Offensive line, they have one of the best offensive line in football.
See, Adam, real quick. I'm sorry, real quick. Because you're right. They are. No, you're right. Talent-wise, they're better than us. All that stuff, all the checks on the paper, yes, the checklist, they're better than us. If you're doing like a checklist off a thing, they're better than us in every way. They're better offensively. They're better defensively. They got way better personnel. They're better just the talent, everything. It's all better. I get that. But the point is,
let me finish.
The point is, there's always a possibility for the Eagles to come out there and stumble and fuck up, and we take advantage of mistakes and don't make mistakes, and there's a possibility. I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility. That's all I'm saying. It's not out of the realm.
I'm not even in that realm of possibility. I mean, this isn't going to be Kevin Garnett chanting, anything's possible! No, because here's why. Okay, as I was alluding to, the team has more talent than us. Now, before you jump in here, let me get what I'm about to say. If we play our A game and they play their A game, we're losing the game just on sheer talent alone. It happened against the Cowboys. Okay, we did not lose that game technically because we were out of it. The game plan worked out. Talent takes over. People need to understand that it's not. This is not the game of Madden. Okay, you can't just plug in teams and say, "Oh, we're going to beat them here and there." You got to look with your eyes. And yes, I understand. This game is, an NFC East game. But with my eyes, here are some of the reasons why I think the Eagles are going to beat us, regardless of what the score is. You want to say blowout, you want to win by 1 point, I think they're going to beat us. 1, they know how to win ugly, just like we do. 2, they know how to win pretty. And they know how to beat you in many different ways. The run game, one game they didn't even pass that much. They ran for 100 and something, almost 300, almost 200 yards. The next game they threw for almost 400 yards. We don't have that balance to do that. The thing that the Giants do is plain and simple. What is plain and simple? Is the Giants' offense is plain and simple. You stop Barkley, which they're going to try to do, which I can't blame them. I can't say they can't because they just beat a team that's exactly like us in Tennessee, exactly like us. Okay, that team, arguably Tennessee, has better personnel than us, but they do the exact same thing. They give it to their running back, they try to grind it out with their defense, and they play small ball with their quarterback. Well, guess what? Guess who they're playing this week? The exact same kind of team where they're going to try to force feed Daniel the ball and do this. The Giants have got to figure out a way to play out of their element. Okay, if you want me to believe that they're going to win this game, then they're going to have to figure out a way to, I don't know, throw a flea flicker. Do some type of play to get these guys off their heels. Now, I'm not saying the Eagles are going to, look at us and think we're going to lie down. I'm not saying the Giants are going to lie down. I just think it's going to be a tall order that you guys think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close for a quarter and a half, and then they're just going to, let the dogs out. They do. That's what they've done all year long. The only game that they really were close to, and I know you're going to say, well, we hung around with the Commanders and the Commanders beat them. Okay, so that's the only one that won. And it was one of those things where it's like, man, they haven't lost since, and they don't look that bad. And I just think right now, matchup-wise, we don't match up well with them. And it's going to be harder than we think. I know everyone wants to – I think a lot of people are thinking with their hearts and not their eyes and their brain because they're thinking like fans. And I'm thinking like, well – I've seen this song and dance before. If this team were playing, if the Giants were playing better, let's say they won 3 in a row coming in here instead of being 0-1 and 2 and 1 or some shit, I give them a better chance at winning. They are struggling right now. They're struggling to score points. The last 3 games, they've averaged 20 points a game, and even the Dallas game wasn't even that close.
But I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to make any kind of a case that. Like I said, that we're in any way, like I said, better than the Eagles. I'm not making that case. I full on understand the discrepancies in these two teams, between these two teams. Like the tail of the tape heavily favors the Philadelphia Eagles. But NFC East football, all bets is off, man. Like I said, and just based off the New York Giants this year, like I keep saying, no matter who we play, we kind of have a way of drawing them into our kind of game to an extent as well.
And they can play that game and be better than us in that game.
They can, Adam, but people thought Baltimore could too. People thought Green Bay could too at the time we played Green Bay.
Yeah, but just like you said, this is the best team in football, right?
They are, and they are,
right? And they found ways to win games. They don't make mistakes.
They're also a division rival. They're also a divisional rival for us. They're also a team that we're also very, very familiar with. in this division, a team we played several football games against. So it's just divisional matchups to me are always different no matter what, in a sense. Even though the Eagles are the best team in football, in my opinion, it's still a divisional matchup. And just you can't.
Let me ask you this question.
You can't. It's hard. Like you're using normal logic. I feel like with this, and it's a divisional matchup, and you can never, in my opinion, use just normal logic when you're talking about divisional games because it's too much familiarity all across the board. It's not like we've never seen Jalen Hurts before. I get it. He's playing at a different level now than he has been the past couple of years. But it's not like we've never seen the man before. It's not like we never played against him before. It's not like we never played well against the man before. I get it. A.J. Brown brings a whole different dynamic to that offense and that wide receiving core. I get all of that. But when you're talking about divisional matchups, it's just all bets are off, man. It's not as simple as they're just flat out better than us.
And since my logic is flawed, give me the path of victory. Give me the path of victory. Because I'm going to have a counter for every point. But give me your path.
I know you are. I know that's why I love you, man. Because I know you are. But like I said, the path to victory, like I said, to me, beating the Eagles is first thing you gotta do is you do gotta figure out a way to control that clock. You gotta control the clock. You gotta sustain drives. You can't go out there having 3 and outs on offense if you're the New York Football Giants. You got to keep moving those chains. You're going to have to, like I said, you just have to. Ball control is going to be key in this. You can't make mistakes. You can't go out there turning the ball over, giving the Eagles short fields, extra possessions. I mean, these are the things you can't do against this Philadelphia Eagle team. And I get they're good enough to overcome a lot of mistakes, and they can make a few mistakes and overcome them. I get it because that's how good they are. But if you're the New York Giants, you got to go out there and you got to devise a game plan in which that offense is sitting on the sideline more than it's on the field. You just have to. You got to figure out a way to keep and sustain drives and keep that Eagle offense on that sideline. To me, the teams that have done that have had the best opportune shots against the Eagles. The Washington Commanders that actually beat them, the Colts that played them very, very competitively did that to them. The Houston Texans did that to them for the first half of that game when they played them. That ball control offense and keeping that Eagle offense sidelined is your best shot because that Eagle offense, let's face it, is absolutely legit and it's not easy to stop. And if they're on the field, most likely they're scoring points. So,
I see that you've only talked about one half of the Eagles football team. They do have the other half, which is the defense, who's up against our worst unit that we have right now. And so, to me, our offense can't pound it out right now against the friggin' Commanders. Again, this team stifled a good running team, stifled one of the best running teams in football last week. And I'm just saying, if we play like we played against the Commanders, we're not walking out with a W. We're not walking out with a W if we play like that. I'm not going to lie to you.
I agree with that, but
I'm not going to lie to you.
Point.
We already have a couple linemen already injured. Golowinski's out with an illness. Okay. Other people, we haven't done anything in my eyes to warrant me to be like, all right, this team is consistent. They're just losing because of bad luck or long kicks in like they did in 2016. This team is trying to grind it out against a team that also knows how to grind it out, also knows how to make turnovers. You realize the Eagles have 13 sacks in the last 3 games. I mean, they get to the quarterback. They know how to stop teams. We have Richie James and Darius Slayton playing as our receivers. And you want me to believe that that we're going to keep ball control offense on this field? You're going to tell me there's not going to be some 3 and outs? Come on.
I didn't say there wasn't going to be. You asked me what's a path to victory, and I was telling you those are things we need to do. I'm not saying we're not going to have any. I'm saying we got to limit those. We can't be going out there all willy-nilly, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and just put
you have to score on every drive, period. That's how you have to win this game. You have to score a touchdown on every possession you have.
I'm not going to take it to that extreme. I'm going to say you have to control the clock. You got to control the clock, and however you got to do it, you got to move the chains. You got to move the chains.
I heard your side.
So that's what I'm saying.
And now it's my side. for my path to victory. You have to score on every drive in this game because the ball control works if you score touchdowns. If you have ball control and you're scoring little puny-ass field goals, guess what? They can win the game quickly. If you're talking about a close game here, you've got to score on every possession. This team, if they get rolling, are going to score a lot of points. That's what they're going to do. And then when they get up in points, if they have a lead, that's when they're going to let the dogs out and make you say, hey, listen, let's play. So you got to score on every drive. You got to be damn near perfect on every drive. If you do something dumb that they did against the Commanders and only have like 21 yards in the second half, the doors are going to be blown up. I don't care how close to the vest they are. They're going to be blown up. All right. And I see a lot of people disrespecting these Eagles as if like we have the personnel to match up against their defense. Their defense is pretty good. And oh, by the way, they brought in two other guys who are pretty fresh right now, and Linville Joseph and Ndamukong.
Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about the Dallas Cowboys defense?
They're the best in football.
Did they completely just stymie us, or did we have some flashes of success against that defense?
We didn't have that as much success. We did not.
I'm not saying like it was over the top great, but were we
okay? So you're gonna score 30.
Did they just come out and completely stonewall?
Score 20 points. They're gonna score 35.
Did that great defense of the Dallas Cowboys just come out and completely stonewall us? I'd say they did more so in the first game than the second game, but did they just completely come out and just stonewall us?
We did shit in the second half. We did not move the football in the second half to the last minute of the football game. The same thing happened in this second half of the football game. The Giants have played two terrible second half of football, okay, when teams are now making adjustments, okay? So the Eagles are going to come out, right? They're probably going to keep it close the first half. Giants go in, the score is probably going to be 13-13 or 13-17 or some shit like that if the Eagles, punt it away. Then they're going to come back, and it's just going to be like last game. Once you start to push the chains back because they're going to stop Barkley, do you think that they can't play defense against us? They can play great defense against us. They sold out and stopped the run. That's exactly what the Tennessee Titans did, and they beat them over the top. This team is good. They can't. We don't have the corners right now. Dory Jackson's not out playing. I can see you, A.J. Brown, having a field day.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out with all that because you're right. There's the cornerback
I never said a shootout. I said you have to score in every possession. That has nothing to do with being a shootout. It just means you got the ball 3 times, score 3 times, touchdowns, not field goals. You're not winning this game with Graham Gano.
It doesn't add up to it's not like I said. It doesn't look good on paper, man. But like I said, I've seen strange things in the NFL. I'm sorry, I just have, and especially when it comes to divisional matchups, I just can't. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys have a phenomenal defense as well, and we've played them twice already, and we've played them pretty close both times. So. I'm not just going to concede that the Eagles defense is so good that no matter anything we do is not going to work. I'm just not going to concede that. I mean, I can admit that they're better. I can admit that
I didn't say nothing's going to work.
I'm not going to pick us to win. I'm not going to pick us to win because, like I said, I just can't do that because technically, from what I know about these two teams right now, I can't realistically pick us to win this football game. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen unless we have to play a pretty flawless football game on Sunday. But I've seen stranger things happen. I've also seen Daniel Jones play well against this Eagle football team as well. Like I said, once again, familiar opponents. Familiar opponents. It's something about that in the divisional matchups, man. Daniel Jones has not played absolutely horrible against this Eagle team throughout his career, to be quite frank. I'm not saying he's been out there killing them and lights out, obviously, but he hasn't played terrible against his team either. I know a different Eagle team, a better Eagle team this year than he's probably played his whole career, but it is what it is. Still, once again, another one of those divisional matchups where anything can happen, man. NFC's football is back, and right now the Eagles are on top, but right now the Giants are desperate, and they need to figure out a way to get something done. And
well, let's hope I'm wrong.
I still believe that. I really hope you're wrong, brother. I've never hoped you were wrong more than this week. But we'll see, man. I mean, it's going to be a crazy game on Sunday, man. A crazy one out there.
Yeah, it's kind of a lose-lose for no matter what you do because you're not even picking them to win, so it doesn't even really matter at the end of the day because if you're not picking them to win, then the path to victory is the path to victory. I'm basing it on what I've seen the last 3 games. Okay, that's what I based it on. The last 3 games, I don't think they have enough to overtake the Eagles. Now, you can say ball control all you want, and stranger things have happened. I've seen that too. I'm not blind to it. I just don't think stranger things are happening in this game. That's all. Because that's what told me against the Cowboys in week 1. In week 3, when I told you the Cowboys were going to beat us, and we should have beaten that team with a backup quarterback, we lost. This week against the Cowboys, same shit. Oh, well, you know what? This is a divisional game. We have a chance. Okay, great. Guess what? We're 0-2-1 in the division. We should have beaten the Commanders. We didn't. So now we have a game at home where, I don't think that they've forgotten that they have lost the last 2 times in MetLife. So they know they lost a couple times in MetLife Stadium already. And I get it. I just think you're gonna. I just think it's a tall order, even when you play your best. Even when you play their best.
I'm not disagreeing. It's a tall order. I know it's a tall order. Like I said, I'm acknowledging fully going into this game the Eagles are a better football team. I know it's a tall order. I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying. I'm also not going to go and concede and completely concede as a fan. Like I said, I put my analyst hat on sure, I'm not picking the Giants to win this football game. I'm just not. Okay? Not that obviously I love the New York Football Giants, but I can't pick them to win this football game if I'm putting my analyst hat on. But as a fan, I'm not conceding this shit either. Because I know when the NFC's, the grimy NFC's football is back this year. It came back this year with a vengeance. We've been the laughingstock. This division has been the laughingstock of the league for the better part of the last 5 years. And this division is back in full swing this year. And even though we're sitting at 0-2-1 in the division, hey, maybe we can turn that around with a surprising, big, huge victory on Sunday against the best damn team in football and make a statement and get this season back on track. That's what we can hope for. It's going to take how they say it, Herculean efforts. It's going to take that.
Well, the NFL, the NFL knows they're not winning. That's why they flex the game on against the Commanders because they know that's the game. Look.
That of course nobody's picking the Giants to win this game. If you go to the thing, I'm sure you're going to see it's going to say like 99% to some little 0.1% of people that think that the Giants are going to actually win this football game. I get that. But nobody thought the Giants was going to have 7 wins either right now at this point in the season either.
I did. Well, not at this point. I said they would have 7 wins.
I'm talking about, at this point in the season, right now, nobody thought the Giants would be sitting with 7 W's either. So a lot of this is different. It's all
It's a playoff game.
It's a huge one. It's a big one. And like you said, it's going to take a Herculean effort, man. It's going to take the best the New York Giants got. They got to give the Eagles their absolute best punch. You know what I mean? And hope the Eagles don't punch back, which they will, because the Eagles are going to keep fighting. But at the same time, you just got, like I said, you got to hope for good things to happen in your favor in this football game because the Eagles are that damn good. So you're going to need them to make mistakes. You're going to have to try to force mistakes, force errors. And you're going to have to play out of your absolute mind. But at the end of the day, it can still happen. I'm still a believer in it can happen. It's not that. It's not, like I said, completely out of just the realm of possibility. Like if we beat the Eagles on Sunday, I'll be shocked. I'll be surprised. But I also know that it ain't like upset of the year or nothing like that. It won't be like the biggest upset of the season. It won't be some history-making upset that people will be talking about 30 years from now. Remember when the Giants beat the Eagles when they were 11-1? No, nobody's going to be talking about that even next year probably. My point is things can happen. I remember when the Denver Broncos came in undefeated to MetLife, not MetLife, it was the Meadowlands then, and the New York Giants put one on their ass. They were like 12-0 or something like that, I believe, at the time. And they came in there and the Giants put it on them. You know what I mean? You just never know what's going to happen in football, man. Sunday, that's why they go out there, they lace them shoes up, and they get out on that field. Because sometimes the better team don't always win. Like I said, if this is like the basketball, baseball, hockey, they know all the playoff series and stuff like that. Usually the better teams win those series. Because it's a series of games. And sure, the underdog team can sneak a win in here and there. But at the end of the day, sometimes the better team just loses. And on Sunday, the Eagles will be the better team on the field, but they still might just lose. And we need them to. And I'm just not trying to rule it completely out. I'm not going to say it's impossible or it can't happen, because it can happen. It's not likely to happen, but it can happen, is all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to happen. We're going to go out there, kick the Eagles' ass. The Eagles ain't shit. I've acknowledged how I feel about the Eagles, even though I'm not happy about feeling that way about them. But it's the truth. They're just that damn good. But at the end of the day, it can happen. It's not like it's just no possible way. It shit happens, man. It goes down. And I love this style of NFC East football. I'm glad NFC East football is back. I'm glad we're able to make this show and have this thing jumping off like this. Because last year, I'm going to tell you, when I was doing this by myself last year and we was 4-13, it was terrible. It stunk. Week in and week out, coming in here just talking about how bad the New York Giants looked and how this and that and how much better everybody else was. So at least this year, it's a lot more competitive, a lot more fun and enjoyable, and I'm glad to be doing it with you, my brother, man. I appreciate you, Adam, man. I really, really do, man.
Well, I appreciate you for having me on this show and letting me be a part of it and talking about it. I'm just saying, to me, I look at trends. I look at patterns. I look at who's hot and who's not. And right now, we're not a hot team, and we're limping into this game. Had we beaten Washington, I might have given us a better shot to win the game. We've tied Washington, and the last 3 games we haven't scored more than 20 points. In the Dallas game, we scored 13. Really, that last one I don't really count. Against the Lions, we got beat by double digits. So I'm just saying, and those teams are far less. The only team those 2 teams that played are far less than the Eagles. So, we'll see what happens, man. So, we'll see what happens. If next Wednesday we come back on here and the Giants are victorious, I'll be happy as a pig in shit.
I mean, this goes to what I was just saying, too, unpopular opinion. Like you said, we fucking around, beat the Eagles, and then still turn around, lose to Washington the following damn week or something. That's just the weird shit that goes down in the NFC East, man. I love when all 4 teams are pretty decent, competitive, and it just makes this division fun. Like I said, once upon a time, this was noted not only the best division in football, but people refer to it as the best division in sports. And it's trying to climb back up to that status again, man. Once again, this season has been great so far, man, and it's getting ready to be a fun month of December going into January and going and trying to make that run, man. But you got any more final thoughts on the night, Adam?
I do not.
Just in general, man, appreciate everybody, man. Unpopular opinion, Cade, my man Philly B, NYG, Jeffy T, guys that was in the chat earlier, Hit Squad, Alex. Man, I appreciate y'all coming through, man, showing love. Me and Adam putting in that work each and every Wednesday right here on The Real Deal, NFC East Round-Up. We bring that to you every Wednesday, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure y'all join us next Wednesday, and we'll see what happened. We'll be talking about what happened, man, between the Eagles and the Giants on Sunday, as well as the rest of the NFC East news, man. Thank y'all for coming out, man. Make sure y'all sub up to myself, Adam Costas, sub up to the Hardcore Sports Network, sub up to my guy, Unpopular Opinion Sports, sub up to my guy, NYG Jeffy T, sub up to all my other homies, man. Big Blue in the Bronx that was in here earlier, His Squad Productions that was in here earlier, man. Show them all some love, man, because we all out here grinding, man. Trying to do this, man. Trying to do this whole content creating thing, putting in that work, man. These guys all work hard. We all do, man. So thanks a lot, everybody, for coming on out, man, enjoying the show. Really appreciate y'all. We had double-digit people in the chat, strong for pretty much the whole damn show. So we really appreciate all that love, man. And we're going to keep grinding for y'all, man. This y'all boy, Mac the Giants fan. This is my guy, Adam Costas, the super dope co-host.
See you guys later.
And we up out of here, y'all. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MacDa Giants fan.